Hell's Paradise Episode 4, and this episode was all about introducing new characters, specifically three new characters that are probably going to be very important not only now but in the future. These three characters being Asa, Yuzuriha of course, and Tamiya. Each of them we see a little bit of story in what they are, how they became the way they are. Not so much for Yuzuriha, but we did see a lot of her character, how she behaves and things like that. We started with Tamiya and then with Yuzuriha and finally with Asa. And to add to that, throughout the whole episode, we had Gabimaru and Sagiri, fighting this monster, this big monster, or monsters, I should say, because there were multiple of them. So yeah, this episode was really weird in a good way because we had the main two characters and then we had other characters introduced, which again sets up a lot of good interactions to come in the future. So this episode was about the stories about these characters, about these three characters that were introduced. For example, we know that Asa has a brother that is part of the Yamada Asaemon. That is actually pretty interesting. I actually wasn't expecting that. As an only anime watcher, I never thought a criminal would have had a brother assigned to him. I suppose the people higher up at the shogunate don't know that he is his brother because otherwise they wouldn't have assigned him to him. And also we got Tamiya, who apparently seems to be not so much as a bad person, but just a wild person. At least that is what were my impressions out of him in this episode. We saw that he's really a wild person that doesn't have so much control of his emotions, if you can call it like that, because yeah, that is how he behaves. Who knows, maybe he does like killing like all the other criminals do to a certain extent. So yeah, but going by this first episode, he doesn't seem to be quite exactly like the other ones, but maybe that is not the case, like I said. We also saw how throughout this whole episode, Sagiri continued to doubt herself. She feels like she's not doing her best being a Yamada Asaemon. So yeah, she's really doubting herself, and yeah, she's going through a lot. We even saw her at the end of the episode faint. I don't know what is going on with that. I don't know if she got bit by an insect. I really doubt it. That would be really surprising. The reason I say that is because if that actually happened, well, that would mean that she's going to die. And I really doubt that. I think it is more the case that she's exhausted. Maybe because of all the fighting, or more likely because she's mentally tired. I mean, this has been really a lot for her to take in. She didn't expect this type of things to happen going into this Hell's Paradise or Paradise. So yeah, she's really tired, mentally exhausted. I wonder if in the next episode she will get up. And from what we learned in the last episode, she's not really one of the better or competent Yamada Asaemon. That doesn't mean that she's bad or bad at fighting, a bad character, a bad Yamada, but I guess you can say there are flaws in her that don't make her the best Yamada Asaemon. So yeah, maybe things like this, that she's not mentally stable, that she doesn't get her emotions together. Maybe things like that are what make her not the best or one of the best Yamada Asaemon. So yeah, going back to the general picture of the episode, going forward, it would seem that Yuzuriha, the two Yamadas that were with her, Gabimaru and Sagiri are going to go together. I wasn't expecting that, not because, it was impossible, but because I didn't even simply think about it. It was not surprising or anything like that. But yeah, that is actually going to be really interesting because Yuzuriha is really an outgoing character, if you can call it like that. She's really energetic. So yeah, that is going to be really interesting to see how they handle each other, how they act, and how they behave. So yeah, the dynamic will be really interesting between all of those characters. Not only of those three, but of the five characters. We also saw how Gabimaru saved Sagiri in this episode. He didn't really want to do it, but he remembered the words that Sagiri and her wife told him, that he is not this simple character that doesn't have any feelings, that he's actually a human. So he actually did save her because, Sagiri at that time was struggling, was mentally tired, was, really not there. She was not in her, I guess you can say, full senses, because she was really struggling with herself. So yeah, Gabimaru was there to save her. So yeah, in the next episode, let's see what happens with the five people, with Yuzuriha, Gabimaru, especially with Sagiri. I don't know what is going on with her. I don't know if she's going to wake up in the next episode. But yeah, that was the general picture of the episode. A lot of action, so many new characters introduced. And in general, this episode made the plot move even further to, I guess you can say, to the next thing or next big thing that is going to happen. We still don't know what that thing is, but yeah, this episode was really good in doing that, in transitioning the episode to something else, to a new thing that is probably going to happen in the upcoming episodes. So yeah, that is everything that I wanted to say about this episode. I hope you enjoyed this short review, and I guess I'll see you all in the next episode review.